Hello everyone. In this presentation of English language resource, we'll have a quick insight of adjective clauses and various related aspects. An adjective clause is a dependent clause that modifies a noun or pronoun. It tells which one or what kind. Adjective clauses almost always comes right after the noun they modify. For example, there is the mountain that we are going to climb. Another example goes like this. Daniel was late again today, plus Daniel sits next to me in English is Daniel, who was late again today, sits next to me in English. Using dependent clause is a way of combining sentences. Types of adjective clauses. There are two kinds of adjective clauses, non-defining or non-essential clauses and defining or essential clause. What is a non-defining clause? An adjective clause that is non-essential to the basic meaning of a sentence. Non-defining clauses add extra information about somebody or something which could be left out and the sentence would still make sense. This extra information is separated from the main clause by commas. For example, the desk in the corner which is covered in books is mine. We don't need this information to understand the sentence. The desk in the corner is mine is a good sentence on its own. We still know which desk is referred to. Similarly, John, who is staying on my right, is left-handed. And you can see the other examples too. Non-defining clauses can be introduced by expressions like all of, many of, plus relative pronoun. Here is the list given. Examples are, there were a lot of people at the party, many of whom I had known for years. He was carrying his belongings, many of which were broken. In non-essential adjectival clauses, what we need to remember is that we should not begin with that and we can't omit the relatives. For example, I like Toy Story, which I have seen recently. Shakespeare, whom you just mentioned, is the most famous British playwright. I have found my keys which I had been looking for. What is a defining clause? An adjective clause that is essential to the basic meaning of a sentence. They define, give us essential information about a general term or expression. Essential adjective clauses are not set off by commas. For example, the students who missed the test yesterday need to talk to the teacher. There are many students, but only a small group of them missed the test. These are the students who need to talk to the teacher. Here we have more examples of defining adjective clauses. The person who is sitting on my right is left-handed. The gentleman who dropped his wallet will come back for it. And so many other examples are given. Here, what we need to remember is that generally essential adjective clauses should not begin with which. You can omit who, whom, when, and that when they are not the subject of the relative clauses, as in the examples given. Which WH word will I use where in an adjective clause? Use of who and whom. Use who when the subject is the person. Go through the examples. Use whom when the object is the person. Here we have more examples. Use of that or which when the subject is a thing. Use of whose to show that something belongs to somebody, that is, the possession. Whose is not usually used to refer to a thing, of which is usually used instead. But it is more natural to say he is reading the book, I can never remember its name, instead of he is reading the book, the name of which I can never remember. Relative clauses and prepositions. In spoken English, a preposition in a relative clause is usually placed at the end of the clause, and the relative pronoun is omitted. A more formal alternative is to put the preposition after the relative pronoun. When the object is a person, one condition. Another condition when the object is a thing. Use of when or that. When is used to show time. But here we need to note one thing. When can also be omitted in defining relative clauses. Use of where. Where is used to refer place. Use of why. Why is used to refer reason. Here you can have a practice exercise. In order to understand the concept very well, you can fill the blanks with appropriate adjectival clauses. Now you can pause the video in order for a practice session. In order to check the answers, play the video and move to the next slide to know the answers. Hope you understand the concept and you can practice adjective clauses very well. For suggestions or queries, write in the comment box.